So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kirsten Bayer, and I'm with the Illinois Center for Specialized Professional Support at Illinois State University in the Educational Administration and Foundations Department. And I am on today's session for just tech support and just to help with any content facilitation and follow-up that Carrie needs. I just want to go over some housekeeping things with everyone on the call today. We are recording this session today, so we'll send it out to all of you in case you want to refer back to it along with the slides. And then if you have any questions while Carrie is speaking today, I ask that you just put them in the chat. But following her presentation, we'll have an opportunity for open Q&A, and you can feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions live. And if you need anything for tech support, or if you have any follow-up questions regarding today, you can feel free to reach out to me directly via the chat. You should be able to message me directly, or you can email me as well, and I'll put my email in the chat for all of you. But with that, I'm going to hand it off to Carrie to introduce herself and start the presentation. And then Carrie, if you just to let you know, you're not in full presentation mode right now. So if you want to click from the beginning, and that looks good. Perfect.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us. My name is Carrie Compardo. I am the office coordinator with the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, specifically the Office of Employment and Training, where we focus heavily on workforce grants throughout the state. Also joining me today is Andrea Valentine, who is a temporary assistant in our Chicago office. So she's learning a little bit more about the tips and trips behind travel training. And I see a couple familiar faces that's participating. I see Marlon there. We've communicated a couple times via email. And Kara, welcome. I think you're one of our newest members to the IWIB board. Congratulations. Would you two like to take a moment to introduce yourselves as well?
Yes, I think you can hear me. This is Marlon.
Hi, Marlon.
And I am delighted to participate in this training. I'm active on the Illinois Workforce Innovation Board, and my assistant was not available to listen in on today, and I want to make sure that we are able to process the expense and travel properly. I don't think I ever done it in the past that I can recall, or very seldom, so it might be a good practice for us. So thank you.
Thank you, Marlon. And Kara? I think, Kara, I'm most interested on how I pronounce your last name properly. But if you're unable to join us, that's okay for now. We'll continue and move ahead. So welcome. Today is Monday, September 11th. This is the travel guidelines for the IWIB members. Once again, thank you. Hopefully this will answer some of your questions. I'm going to give you a general overview. So going to the next slide. For our new IWIB members, we're going to do getting started, how to get started, how to enroll, how to get set up in our system. Then we're going to complete a couple things about the CMS travel cost calculator and what is the best mode of transportation. We're going to go a little bit over the explanation of all the transportation ins and outs, some of your lodging options, how to calculate per diem or meal allowance. We're going to complete an overview of the travel request form. Then we're going to complete the non-state employee reimbursement report, which is also called the travel voucher. All the documents needed by our department in order to secure reimbursement and additional travel resource information. Our newest IWIB members, how do we get started? To get set up in our CMS accounting system, which is also known as SAP, this program was introduced July of last year, so it is fairly new to us as well. We've ironed out a lot of the bugs in the last year, so hopefully this travel training will be a little bit more productive than last year's because we were in the midst of a huge transition. To do this, to get set up, all you have to do is email me, your OET travel coordinator. I'll need your full name, your home address, and your phone number. Accounting will then provide me with your SAP vendor number. This is a unique identifier that we're going to use in all your travel vouchers in order for you to secure reimbursement. For members that are veterans, this replaces the CEO number that was on the old form. You're also going to submit a current W-9 form, and then we also have the option for non-state employees to enroll in direct deposit, which I provided the link at the bottom. Okay, so you need to attend an IWIB meeting. Now what do? The state is big on the most economical mode of transportation. This applies to both state employees and non-state employees. It is complicated and can be frustrating, but I've listed some of the travel control board updates in the last couple of years. We are still using Hertz for our rental company. You can get personal vehicle mileage and use. And we also offer a $32 flat rate for vehicle use as well for mileage reimbursement. So some of those updates are listed there. Amtrak is also listed there on how to get tickets at the state rate. You do qualify for that as well. Some of the other routes, there's some specific guidelines on Amtrak as far as you have to take the lowest fare, which is the coach class, and the business class upgrade fees are not reimbursable. How to use the CMS trip cost calculator. This is tricky, but this should be done prior to any travel, where it will virtually calculate if a rental car or a personal car is the best means of transportation. So this has to be done for all trips. This just is a general overview. There's a link where you can click on here to get to the calculator. You do not qualify for the state car. So you just be looking at the two options, the rental car and the personal car. You'll enter how many days the traveler will utilize the vehicle. You do not want to enter anything into the hours box. Then you'll calculate your total round trip mileage, and that will automatically estimate your most economical means. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next page because this will show an example. So I've entered here 4 days with a total of 600 miles, and I clicked this box here to show that this is a rental car in the Chicago metro area. So if you're in the Chicago area and you need to rent a car, it's going to show all the cost calculations. For example, in this, the rental car is $276 and the personal car is $393. So therefore, the rental car is the most economic means. What that tells you is that you're required to take a rental car to get any sort of reimbursement for mileage for a car. You do have other options. You have the option to take your personal car, but you may not receive reimbursement. And we'll go over that in more detail shortly. The second example on this page also shows what mileage is. Same days, 4 days, 600 miles, but without being in the Chicago area. So some of the downstate Illinois areas or central Illinois, where a rental car would be $244 and the personal car is $393. Once again, the rental car is the most economic means. 90% of the time, the rental car is going to be your best option for travel. I know it's not ideal and it's not convenient, but those are the state rules. Moving on. Oops. Click on my page. Okay. What if I want to drive my personal vehicle instead of renting a car? So according to the Governor's Travel Board Travel Update 1806, when it is determined that using the rental car is the most economical mode of transportation, the traveler may use their personal car and would be entitled to claim a $32 flat rate. So you're going to use this very commonly as IWIB members, because most of the time taking a rental car is not going to be convenient for you. However, if it is, by all means, you'll get full reimbursement. However, the $32 is only available on the day of departure and the day of return. It does not include any days in between. If it is just a single day trip, 1 day down, 1 day back, you get a flat rate of $32. So that is an option, so you get at least some reimbursement for traveling in your own personal car. The only way to receive mileage, actual mileage reimbursement, is when the trip cost calculator shows that the personal car is the most economic means. And I'll be honest, I rarely see that, but there are ways we can get around that, and there are exceptions to certain circumstances. But that is something that we would take care of on the back end. Lodging, booking a hotel. What do you need to know about it? Lodging accommodations throughout the state of Illinois are based on contracts and rates within our local areas, specifically by county. The Chicago metro area is based on federal rates. Other rates you can see showing there include DuPage, Kane, Lake, McHenry, and Will counties are at $95. Downstate Illinois areas like Champaign, Macon County, Sangamon, Peoria, Rock Island, $85. And then more other rural areas or counties are at $75. So the most important piece of this is when you are booking your hotel, the state will require you to choose a hotel that is on the preferred hotel listing first as your first options. Those lodging rates, most commonly you'll see $85. Those lodging rates don't include any applicable taxes, so you do need to kind of calculate the tax into your total overall estimate. Valet parking is can be listed on your travel request as a miscellaneous category, and that includes self-parking, garage parking. As you know, parking in Chicago can be very expensive. So if staying a day in a hotel in Chicago, you might list a $100 fee for garage parking and Uber fees or any other miscellaneous get around the city fees. When making a reservation at a hotel for an overnight stay, the most important thing is to ensure that you're receiving the state rate or the federal rate for the Chicago hotels. There are, once again, exceptions where these rates or rooms might not be available. If that happens, please reach out to me and I will assist you with finding a different option or requesting an exception from the travel board. The federal rates in Chicago can be found on gsa.gov. These are calculated by fiscal year. Currently, you're looking at fiscal year October 2022 to September 2023. So for example, if you were staying in a Chicago hotel in August, you're going to look for one of the Chicago hotels that offers a federal, military, or government rate of $187. If those fees are over that, please contact me and I will assist you as well. This is the fun part. This is also the very confusing and complicating part, the travel request form. This looks like a lot and it can look very scary, but this is important that we have to complete a request for expenses for your travel funds prior to your departure. So as soon as you know you're going to travel to an IWIB meeting or any state-related business event, please reach out to me so we can work on getting it pre-approved. Keep in mind, this is just an estimate of your travel expenses. It's always better to overestimate instead of underestimate. On this form, you'll provide the name of yourself as the traveler, your normal work hours, destination, so that would be the city and state, the purpose of your travel dates, and the time of your departure and returns. The time of your departure and returns are important in the sense that it helps me help you calculate per diem. After that section's filled out, you'll fill in your lodging information. In the first box, you put the number of nights that you're staying in a hotel if you are staying overnight. And then the second box will include that state rate of $85 plus any taxes, which usually ends up being about $96.90. So that would be your total travel reimbursement for your hotel. Based on your departure times and return times, then we would calculate your per diem based on quarters. This is an older form, actually. Just looking at this, our per diem recently increased. The state did an update, and the new per diem in state is $11 a quarter, and out of state is $12 a quarter. If you're not traveling overnight, you do not qualify for lodging or per diem, and you can qualify for possible meal reimbursement. Meal reimbursement is only applicable if you travel greater than 10 hours in your normal workday. So if you leave before 6 a.m., you would qualify for breakfast. And if you return after 6 p.m., you would qualify for a dinner reimbursement. But you have to travel over 10 hours in one working day. Travel options, we have a drop-down box on which mode of transportation is preferred and most economical. There are many, many different options to choose from. Like I said in our first couple slides, your most likely option will either be a rental car, or in lieu of a rental car, taking your personal car for the $32 flat rate. If you need assistance with the rental car, I am available to help you with that as well. Your miscellaneous categories include any parking, tolls, Uber, any extra expenses that you can think of that are not listed on this form. So that might look like a lot. It might feel like a lot. It's a lot of information, but you have me. I am your friendly OET travel coordinator. So I'm taking the work off your plate, and I am requesting that you email me directly with the following information: your name, address, phone number, location of destination, departure date, departure time, return date, return time, and your mode of transportation. I can kind of calculate out your travel expenses and submit your travel request form for you on your behalf, just based on that basic information. With that being said, it's no longer a paper form. This is an electronic process. So our travel request forms are now smart sheet forms. They are available through our DCO portal, our intranet, basically. You might have an external partner account. You might not. You can always try to create one and submit your own travel requests. But once again, I'll take that off your plate for you if you just email me the information. So what I do is, I submit the online travel request. This is a general overview of it. You're going to receive an email from Stephen Cognac from the Adobe sign form. There is an example of what that email is going to look like when it comes into your travel box. You're going to click on the review and approve. You're going to apply your electronic signature, and then the form's automatically going to be sent back for the next level of approval. All parties listed in the level of approvals will receive a copy. Once again, I will be filling all this out for you, so you don't have to worry about how to fill it out and the proper steps and procedures. You'll just be expecting to receive an email like this prior to your trip. Moving on with the travel request, the final approval, the travel and the travel coordinator will receive both a copy of the agreement. Once again, here's an example of what the agreement looks like when it comes through to your email. It's going to say it coming from the Illinois Department of CMS, EcoSign at ecosign.com. This is an Adobe program. You'll need to click Open Agreement and save that to one of your travel files. This is just a copy of your pre-approval travel expenses. I will receive a copy as well. After your travel has completed, then the next step occurs, which is the travel voucher process, also known as the non-state reimbursement report. Once again, this is a very complicated form where it requires the traveler entering all their own personal information, including name, address, their SAP vendor number that we requested at the beginning of this training, the purpose of their travel. They're going to enter all their travel information from dates to locations and times, all the expenses, and then sign and date their form and send it to me for review. In the past, we've had all of our IWIB members do this on their own behalf. However, now and behold, you have me, your travel coordinator. So once you are completed your travel, please reach out to me and we will work on filling out this form together. I can basically use all the information that we used on the travel request and piggyback off that to copy it onto the travel voucher. The travel voucher submission process includes emailing me all of your receipts upon the completion of your trip. I will fill out the form on your behalf. I'll email you a copy of this form to review and approve. At this point in time, we can make edits and revisions. I can make an edit to the date that you left or the time that you left or the amount. So we can always review that together. Then you're going to apply your signature and return the form back to me. I will attach all the related documents and receipts that you had previously sent me in your email to the voucher and package it and submit it to our accounting department for reimbursement. So overall, the documents you needed to receive the travel reimbursement would include your travel requests, that's your pre-approval, your travel voucher, that's your reimbursement form, your hotel and lodging receipt, any transportation receipts, any miscellaneous receipts, including parking, garage, Uber, taxi, baggage, and any other supporting documents, including itinerary, agenda, your trip cost calculator, anything that shows proof of mileage, and so forth. The last page is the travel resource information page, which just shows some general travel links. It goes directly to our CMS travel guide. This website is going to house all the governor's travel control board regulations and policies, updates, the reimbursement schedule, lodging guidelines, preferred hotel listings, all transportation procedures and agreements. The CMS trip cost calculator, which we've talked in detail about, is also available through this website. It also utilizes the parking apps in the Chicago area like Spot Hero, ParkWiz, and any kind of Uber information. I'm not going to get too deep into out-of-state travel. If it comes across to where an IWIB member needs to travel out of state, please reach out to me. It's a longer and more complicated process, if you can imagine that. But moving on, that is the end of the presentation, and my contact information is listed on this last page. Our mailing address is currently 607 East Adams Street, 3rd floor, Springfield, Illinois, 62701. You can reach me on my state cell phone at 217-986-1397 or carrie.compardo@illinois.gov. And then I think at this time, we should answer any questions.
Great, thank you, Carrie. Marlon does have a question he typed in the chat, which says, "Is Hertz the only allowed option for rental cars?"
Yes, that is correct.
And then he would also like to know if he has been set up.
No, not set up yet. In order to do that, we would go back to that other slide, which this will be sent out to all the members, where he just has to provide me his name, home address, and phone number. I'll submit that information. That's all we need to accounting, and that'll get him set up in our system to be able to receive reimbursement when the time comes.
Great. If anyone else has any questions, or Marlon, if you have more questions, feel free to unmute and ask them live.
Nope, that did it for me. Thank you.
If you have an administrative assistant, or an office coordinator like myself, or somebody else in your office that you'd like me to work with, so I don't bombard you with back-to-back communication via email on your travel plans, feel free to share my information to your assistants, and I'm happy to move forward working with them as well.
Good. I will do that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Does anyone else have any other questions?
And you will send this presentation over, right?
Correct. Yes, we're
Okay.
going to send it out to all IWIB members, the recording from today, as well as the slide deck.
Perfect.
So Marlon, if you are planning to travel to this
Mhm.
week's meeting, you might need to
Yes.
email me today.
Yes, I was thinking about that, and I will.
Okay.
That's why I'm looking for this. I'm a screenshot. I'm going to take a screenshot of this one. Oh, here. And I do have it, so I can get that going.
Great.
All right.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and close us out then. If anybody doesn't have any further questions, if you do, you can reach out to Carrie directly. And like I said, we will be sending the recording from today out as well as the presentation slide to all the IWIB members. And I wish you guys the best of luck and a good time at your meeting this week.
Great.
And thank you for attending today. We appreciate your time.
And thank you. Look forward to working with you.
Thank you, Kirsten. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.